How do you really know that you're on the right side of a cultural conflict? Every 4 years, this country has another set of elections. Every 4 years, the politically motivated try to convince those of us that are not politically motivated that this is the election that's more important than any other in all of history. How can we really know that? How can we really know what would have happened if the election had gone the other way? I think it's a legitimate question, but one thing this movie reminds me is that it's not a legitimate objection. I'm not sure how they would have known it in the moment that Hitler was coming to power, but undoubtedly there were those that did know, and there were those who did object, and there were those who did complain. How did they know? One of the problems we have is that we can never underestimate the creativity of those intent on deceiving us. Be they fleshly or spiritual or some combination of the two. Hitler learned from those who came before him. He didn't just rise to power, he saw what others had done to rise to power and how they had failed. He reached out to the church, and he learned what errors the church was attuned to and aligned himself to that tuning. He reached out to local neighborhood groups and tied into what their fears were. He connected to the base level of every person he could to ensure they would listen to him and propagate his message. The same as Johnathan Edwards, except that Johnathan Edwards used those techniques to ensure that people grew closer to each other, to God, and to those who were hurting. So what is it really that we can look for to know what will make the next evil dictator and what will make the next powerful leader? I don't know, and I'm skeptical of those who pretend to know. That's one of the reasons why I don't join up with any political parties. If I join a political party or movement, they'll own a piece of my allegiance. If they use that and start to move in a bad direction, I end up having to choose between them and the truth they oppose. As an independent, I can periodically choose a side or the other even when it's not absolutely right. I don't want the perfect to be the enemy of the good, so I'll take a small improvement over staying the same or deteriorating. I don't think I'm always able to identify what the next best thing is. I need to look to people who know more than I do in their subjects to help me decide that. The one thing that I know for sure at this point is that the best thing is rarely the politically expedient thing for either side, and we would do well to remember that as a people.